In the dead of night, an unsolved mystery unfolds, shrouded in fear and uncertainty.
My opinion.
I'm sorry, sweetie, but yeah, maybe. But I knew that.
You did.
I hope not. I mean, we still don't know. Honestly, we don't know anything.
No.
We don't know anything. So I don't know that it's because she's my mom and somebody thought, oh, that girl, that lady has money. We can make a quick buck. I mean, that would make sense.
Listen, Ray, that's what I think. If you watch that camera footage again, you see his arm going like this, like he's like, hey, dude, let me in. You got to remember there was that screen door thing there. I have that exact same black screen door. All right. All you have to do is go like this to it, and you could hear it from the door that somebody's there. And then he does this, and his other hand comes down to the doorknob. So that's what I was thinking, that he's like, bro, dude, you didn't let me in, man. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, he's unlocking it and it's not open. So then he's like, shit, this camera light is on. Let's just cover this up, pull it off, and we're good. Yep.
Sense, but we don't know. But yeah, that's probably, which is too much to bear. To think that I brought this to her bedside, that it's because of me.
We don't know that they did.
And I just say, I'm so sorry, Mommy. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to my sister and my brother and my kids and my nephew and Tommy, and my brother-in-law. I'm like, so sorry. I'm so sorry. If it is me, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
One other detail that Savannah released today was in furtherance to what she mentioned in one of her Instagram posts, which was, my mom was taken from her bed in the dark of night. Now she's going further and giving details about what her mom was wearing when she was taken from that home. Take a listen.
How is it possible that we are having to make a video speaking to a kidnapper who took an 84-year-old woman in the dead of night in her pajamas with no shoes, without her medicine, this little person, and to beg for mercy?
That's new. Pajamas and no shoes. That is new information, because I think about Mrs. Guthrie being taken.
Yep.
If she was walking that stone path off of her front entrance, her tile.
Listen, real quick, guys, and Juicy Jules, I absolutely believe the criminals are criminal. They're absolutely watching. There's no way you're going to send a letter to TMZ, a ransom note to TMZ, and not be watching for the reaction. There's no way the things that look like they were staged that happened and you're not watching it. There's people that get off on that attention. They commit a crime and they want to see what they caused. Brian Koberger did the same thing when he came back that morning after he had killed them in the early morning. Was it 9-10 o'clock in the morning? He wanted to see if there was, what happened. Were the cops there yet? He wanted to see the scene of the crime, but they didn't wake up. All right. It's just flavored. It's nicotine. It's better than cigarettes. All right, let's continue.
Front entrance outside her front door. That would not be the kind of thing you'd want to walk on with bare feet without shoes.
Nah.
So it's painful to think about, an 84-year-old woman being forced to walk over those stones without her shoes, or God forbid, being carried for whatever reason. But that is a detail we didn't know until now. And Savannah spoke specifically about the whole ransom piece, because we're well into the end of week 8 right now,
What about the ransom?
And many of us have sort of felt as though the ransom piece has fallen away. There hasn't been any mention of it. The alleged ransom seekers never gave proof of life, never gave a second communication to say, okay, well, this deadline is passed now. We'll give you a proof of life or a photo. And and that's all that Savannah and her siblings asked for, right? If you're real, you have to tell us that you're real, and you have to give us proof that you have my mother. And so she speaks to the ransom piece, because while we may have all moved on from it, it doesn't feel like Savannah has.
There are a lot of different notes, I think, that came. And I think most of them, it's my understanding, are not real. And I didn't see them. But,
Just real quick, no shoot vaccine. I already promised to quit. All right. I already promised to quit. I don't want to say that, but I'm working on it. I smoked cigarettes from the time I was 14 until 26 years old. I quit smoking until COVID came. When COVID came and vapes were everywhere, I started smoking nicotine again. I will quit again. All right, let's continue. But it's nicotine.
A person that would send a fake ransom note really has to look deeply at themselves.
Yeah.
To a family in pain. But I believe the 2 notes that we received, that we responded to, I tend to believe those are real.
Really?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We've talked on this podcast, and many other people's podcasts have spoken about this, is when we got the ring cam video from the FBI showing that masked intruder at the front door. It was absolutely terrifying. I remember the day. I remember someone saying, my God, it looks like a scene out of the movie Fargo. It's so scary, just this terrifying masked man. And then we went further to imagine, once we learned from Savannah that her mom had been taken from her bed, what must that have been like? The fear that you can't even imagine opening your eyes and seeing that when you're in your safest space, right? Not only in your home, but in your bed. And Savannah addressed that directly.
I mean, it's just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
It's just totally terrifying. And I can't imagine that is who she saw standing over her bed.
Yeah.
I can't.
Do you guys think that he took his mask off, or do you think that he was in there the entire time with it? Because now if she woke up and saw him with the mask, and in the 41 minutes or so he was in there, and she saw his face, because he probably already knew what he was going to do. I'm just curious what you guys think. Country Bumpkin, what's up? How you doing, my friend?
It's too much.
Yeah.
Savannah made note about what could only be sort of thought of as the upside to at least having that video, right? We've got a suspect, at least some details, right? Some forensic details, something to put out to the public to get tips. That's a huge upside. But there was the other one where she said, early on, I had a source in the police who said that the investigators were focusing on her brother-in-law, right? And they towed her sister's car. They searched her sister's house. They photographed at night. They canvassed her sister's neighbor. And so a lot of the press went over to her sister and her brother-in-law's home. The investigation has to do that. Every investigation has to do that, right? But that was very difficult for Savannah. And she made a mention of how this image at least tamped down a lot of the speculation about her family. Have a listen.
And I'm glad and grateful to the investigators and the technology companies that were able to find that video. To, I hope, at least with people of good heart and compassion, stop the irresponsible and cruel speculation that had started to swirl.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
I'm glad that people saw what came to our door.
When you talk about the cruel speculation, the whispers, the innuendo that it was somebody in your family, how did you weather that?
It's unbearable. Yeah. And it piles pain upon pain.
Go for it.
Meaning that balance of how horrible it's been and how wonderful God has been to her in all of this and helping get her through it. And to that end, Savannah also mentioned that God has spoken to her in all of this. And what she said really is profound in how Savannah has been processing this. Take a listen.
As I said to myself.
All right, I'm going to move forward a bit because we just watched this. So I know every freaking thing that they say right now, and I want to start getting into the theories.
Where does the investigation stand? The direct quote is, "We ain't got shit." That's one of the investigators in the investigation. We ain't got shit. And it is hard to hear that, because all the while I have imagined that they've got really strong leads that they are pursuing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, and there's people from Tucson and Pima County that are there